Thanks for tuning in to Journey to the Truth and Total Randomness. Today I want to read the FISA memo to you guys. I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I still haven't read it. I just printed out the 4 pages here. There was a 2-page cover letter that basically just indicates that the President has the power to declassify and classify information as he sees fit. So the power to do this, it falls into the hands of the President. Congress doing their thing, doing a vote on it was just kind of like a common courtesy process. And so anything you hear that's opposite to that is false. And I know I've been hearing a lot of that on the news, when it comes to the Democrats. So I kind of got fed up going to all these YouTube channels saying they're going to read it to you, and they never do. They just read bits and pieces, and then they go off on their tangents of what they think it means and all that. I'm just here to read it to you. It's 4 pages. It's 15 paragraphs. And it's probably going to take approximately 5 to 10 minutes to read to you, depending how fast I read this. Alright, let's go. Purpose. This memorandum provides members an update on significant facts relating to the committee's ongoing investigation into the Department of Justice, the DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and their use of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, F-I-S-A, during the 2016 presidential election cycle. Our findings, which are detailed below, 1. Raise concerns with the legitimacy and legality of certain Department of Justice and FBI interactions with the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, which is FISC, and 2. Represent a troubling breakdown of legal processes established to protect the American people from abuses related to the FISA process. Investigation update. On October 21st, 2016, Department of Justice and FBI sought and received a FISA probable cause order, not under Title VII, authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from the FISC. Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump presidential campaign. Consistent with requirements under FISA, the application had to be first certified by the director or deputy director of the FBI. It then required the approval of the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, DAG, or the Senate-confirmed Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division. The FBI and Department of Justice obtained 1 initial FISA warrant targeting Carter Page and 3 FISA renewals from the FISC, as required by Statute 50 U.S.C. 185 D1. A FISA order on an American citizen must be renewed by the FISC every 90 days, and each renewal requires a separate finding of probable cause. Then Director James Comey signed 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI, and Deputy Director Andrew McCabe signed 1. Then DAG Sally Yates, then Acting DAG Dana Boente, and DAG Rod Rosenstein each signed 1 or more FISA applications on behalf of the Department of Justice. Due to the sensitive nature of foreign intelligence activity, FISA submissions, including renewals, before the FISC are classified. As such, the public's confidence in the integrity of the FISA process depends on the court's ability to hold the government to the highest standard, particularly as it relates to surveillance of American citizens. However, the FIC's rigor in protecting the rights of Americans, which is reinforced by 90-day renewals of surveillance orders, is necessarily dependent on the government's production to the court of all material and relevant facts. This should include information potentially favorable to the target of the FISA application that is known by the government. In the case of Carter Page, the government had at least 4 independent opportunities before the FISC to accurately provide an accounting of the relevant facts. However, our findings indicate that, as described below, material and relevant information was omitted. 1. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele, Steele Dossier, on behalf of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, and the Hillary Clinton campaign, formed an essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign via the law firm Perkins coie and research firm Fusion GPS to obtain derogatory information on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. A. Neither the initial application in October 2016 nor any of the renewals disclose or reference the role of the DNC Clinton campaign or any party/campaign in funding Steele's efforts, even though the political origins of Steele's dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. B. The initial FISA application notes Steele was working for a named U.S. person, but does not name Fusion GPS and Principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by a U.S. law firm, Perkins coie, representing the DNC, even though it was known by DOJ at the time that the political actors were involved with the Steele dossier. The application does not mention Steele was ultimately working on behalf of and paid by the DNC and Clinton campaign, or that the FBI had separately authorized payment to Steele for the same information. 2. The Carter Page FISA application also cited extensively a September 23, 2016 Yahoo News article by Michael Isikoff, which focuses on Page's July 2016 trip to Moscow. This article does not corroborate the Steele dossier because it is derived from information leaked by Steele himself to Yahoo News. Sorry guys, it's the first time I'm reading this too. Just funny. The Page FISA application incorrectly assesses that Steele did not directly provide information to Yahoo News. Steele has admitted in the British court filings that he met with Yahoo News and several other outlets in September 2016 at the direction of Fusion GPS. Perkins coie was aware of Steele's initial media contacts because they hosted at least one meeting in Washington, D.C. in 2016 with Steele and Fusion GPS where this matter was discussed. A. Steele was suspended and then terminated as an FBI source for what the FBI defines as the most serious of violations, an unauthorized disclosure to the media of his relationship with the FBI in an October 30th, 2016 Mother Jones article by David Korn. Steele should have been terminated for his previous undisclosed contacts with Yahoo and other outlets in September, before the Page application was submitted to the FISC in October, but Steele improperly concealed from and lied to the FBI about those contacts. B. Steele's numerous encounters with the media violated the cardinal rule of source handling, maintaining confidentiality, and demonstrated that Steele had become a less than reliable source for the FBI. 3. Before and after Steele was terminated as a source, he maintained contact with Department of Justice via then Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, OHR, a senior DOJ official who worked closely with Deputy Attorneys General Yates and later Rosenstein. Shortly after the election, the FBI began interviewing Orr, documenting his communications with Steele. For example, in September 2016, Steele admitted to Orr his feelings against then-candidate Trump when Steele said he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. This clear evidence of Steele's bias was recorded by Orr at the time and subsequently in official FBI files, but not reflected in any of the Page FISA FISA applications. A. During this same time period, Orr's wife was employed by Fusion GPS to assist in the cultivation of opposition research on Trump. or later provided the FBI with all of his wife's opposition research paid for by the DNC and Clinton campaign via Fusion GPS. The Orr's relationship with Steele and Fusion GPS was inexplicably concealed from the FISC. 4. According to the head of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division, Assistant Director Bill Priestap, cooperation with the Steele dossier was in its infancy at the time of the initial Page FISA application. After Steele was terminated, a source validation report conducted by an independent unit within FBI assessed Steele's reporting as only minimally corroborated. Yet, in early January 2017, Director Comey briefed President-elect Trump on a summary of the Steele dossier, even though it was, according to his June 2017 testimony, salacious and unverified. While the FISA application relied on Steele's past record of credible reporting on other unrelated matters, it ignored or concealed his anti-Trump financial and ideological motivations. Furthermore, Deputy Director McCabe testified before the committee in December 2017 that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISC without the Steele dossier information. Okay, last paragraph, guys. Number 5. The Page FISA application also mentions information regarding fellow Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, but there is no evidence of any cooperation or conspiracy between Page and Papadopoulos. The Papadopoulos information triggered the opening of the FBI counterintelligence investigation in late July 2016 by FBI agent Pete Strzok. Strzok was reassigned by the Special Counsel's Office to FBI Human Resources for improper text messages with his mistress, FBI attorney Lisa Page, no known relation to Carter Page, where they both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump and in favor of Clinton, whom Strzok had also investigated. The Strzok/Lisa Page texts also reflect extensive discussions about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, and include a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. Okay, so that was actually my first time reading it, and it possibly was your first time hearing it all too if you haven't read it yet. If you want to get a copy of it, you can still get it at Fox News. The whole thing, I heard from some sources, just get it from Fox News because other news outlets are actually manipulating the text and changing the text and editing the text, and it's not telling you everything. So just get it from Fox News. I think you can get it from the whitehouse.gov website as well. I actually went there. I couldn't find it myself, but I was doing it from my phone, so I didn't spend a lot of time on it. After reading that, I mean, this is really damning information. I mean, this is Hillary Clinton, her party, the FBI Director Comey, McCabe, all those other people I mentioned in there. They are basically trying to rig the election. They're trying to, and they wiretapped the Trump presidency campaign. That's what they did, trying to look for information to get dirt on them. They fabricated this false dossier, which was paid for by the Hillary Clinton Foundation, and they submitted it as evidence to the FISA courts. They never told the judge at the FISA courts that the dossier was paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign or was paid for by the FBI, or the fact that Steele, broke the rules and spoke to media outlets, which was like a cardinal rule that they mentioned in there, and he was already terminated at the time. He wasn't even getting any payments from the FBI at that point. And they didn't do it only once. They did it once, and then they did it 3 more times after that using the dossier that was fabricated. And they used it to wiretap Trump. And if you listen to some of the people who've already spoken on CNN and MSNBC that were staff of Obama's, they give the hint that they knew about this information too. They had access to this top secret information that nobody else had, so they knew about what was going on in Trump's campaign and all this stuff too. There's going to be a lot of people going to jail over this. That is what I believe, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. From what I heard from other sources is that they have 1.5 million pages of dirt on the government corruption that was supplied to them by, good people in the CIA and good people and good folks in the NSA and FBI. They're not all bad, so they got some good information. They have factual information to back up the claims. They're not even claims if they're backed up by facts. That it's the truth. So please spread this video around. If you like this, please subscribe below, and I can do more stuff like this, reading these things, because I know a lot of people are so busy in their life, they don't get time to, sit down and read all this stuff, and that was only 4 pages. And if you don't read it properly, it can be confusing the way they put their commas and break up the paragraphs and stuff. And if you don't know who these people are, so at least you have the names. I read them to you. You can look them up, you can Google them, you can see their faces, who these people are, what positions they hold. These are people that are up in the highest parts of our judicial system, trying to rig an election so that Hillary will win. And I think they all thought that Hillary was going to win and be the president, and then that they won't have to worry about any of this stuff. And they kept renewing the FISA, the wiretap. They kept renewing that in hopes that they would get some kind of dirt on Donald Trump, but it never happened. And so first day Trump's in office, and he finds all this out, because from what I was told, this was the first thing he tackled. He wanted to find out everything Obama and Hillary were doing against him and his campaign, and to find out if they were wiretapping him or not. So he kept that to himself for all this time, for the whole year, while in the background he was getting the ball rolling on things, And to be honest with you, I don't even think it's a coincidence that all these women in the Hollywood started coming out against their sexual predators that attacked them in the past. I think they actually felt confident that they could do this under Trump's as being president, because if you look at all the prior presidents, they were all buddy with Weinstein and stuff. So they didn't dare come out and try to expose these sexual predators. So now I think in the future, we're going to be tackling the slave trade, the sexual predators in Hollywood and the elites and DC, and I'm sure there's Republicans too that are just as dirty in that. So we're going to find all this out as this information gets released. This was just the first memo. I guarantee there's probably going to be dozens and dozens more that are going to implicate people from various industries and government, not only here but throughout the world, that we're trying to rig this election and doing other dirty stuff that we don't even know and possibly don't even want to know, but we need to know, because if we don't have the truth, we can't move on. So, alright guys, thanks for listening. Please subscribe, please share this. It's important that everybody knows this. You got to pay attention to your politics and what's going on. You don't realize how close we came to turning America into a dictatorship. It came close. If Hillary would have won, things would be bad right now. Very bad. All right. Bye.